Hi, this is Political News in 5, and my name is Aisha Osori. Today is March 6, 2022. And the first thing I want to talk about today is the constitutional amendment process and the implications for women's political participation. On March 1st, the National Assembly considered 68 bills. Out of those 68, 5 had political ramifications for women. Some of the provisions would have reserved 35% of appointed positions and positions within political parties for women. There were also a bill to have special seats, 111 special seats for women in the National Assembly. Right now, the representation of women in the National Assembly is less than 5%, which is quite low even by sub-Saharan Africa average of 24%. So much for the giant of Africa. We really need to do better. But for me, honestly, the two that were particularly egregious were the ones on citizenship and state of origin, which the National Assembly also declined to pass. The one on citizenship would have righted a wrong and given Nigerian women the same privileges that men have when they marry foreign spouses, to be able to share that citizenship with their spouses. The second was state of origin, which is usually weaponized against married women when it comes to appointed positions and when it comes to even elections and promotions within the civil service. So, for example, when Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala was nominated as a minister a couple of years ago, there was a huge debate about whether she was going to be taking her husband's state slot or her father's state slot. Same thing, there's a female judge, quite senior, from Benue originally, married to a man from Kano, lived in Kano for most of her professional life. Kids are considered citizens of Kano, had served in judiciary, and now, by dint of her seniority, was supposed to be appointed, or at least seriously considered, to be the chief judge of Kano State. And then all of a sudden, they realize that she's not an indigene. You can bet that if she goes to Benue, they will tell her that they also don't consider her an indigene of Benue anymore. So where exactly is she supposed to be from? So Nigerian women have been mobilizing since that day, trying to get the National Assembly to reconsider. March 8th is a special day for us, International Women's Day. We're calling on all Nigerians who are well-meaning to please join us in different locations around the country. Use the hashtags, the Constitution we want, and just please put pressure on the National Assembly to reconsider. I have to say, considering that we have 39 million female registered voters on the register, you have to wonder why the legislature doesn't care what we think and what we want. So, especially when you look at the numbers for the presidential election for 2019, where the total number of votes, including invalid votes, came up to just 28 million votes in total. So, meaning that women alone by themselves, just as a bloc, can actually determine who becomes the president. So we need to be using our power more as a political force in this country. Second, the constitutional amendment process did give us some good bills, bills that would free up the local governments and the state assemblies from the shackles of the governors, giving them a bit more independence. We also saw a bit of devolution of powers from the federal government to the state government, which is absolutely fantastic. The only problem now is the timeline. Considering that we're just a couple of months away from the elections, it's very unlikely that we're going to be able to see 24 state assemblies also pass these bills into law, which is what is required to actually amend the constitution in Nigeria. So it's one thing for the National Assembly to pass them. We now need 2/3 of the 36 states to pass them as well. So let's keep our fingers crossed, but it's really unlikely. And then finally, what I'm calling the scoop of Political News in 5 for this week is that I have heard on good authority that Tinubu knows from the APC powers that be that he is not the preferred presidential candidate for 2023. And they've asked him to give them some recommendations of who he would like. But I'm sure he's not going to take that option. He's made it clear that this is a lifetime ambition that he intends to pursue. Besides, I think he has fallen for this trick too many times, the trick of go and bring a name. So I would say on Tinubu's behalf, once bitten, twice shy, or once bitten as many times I have bitten as well. Because to be honest, it's hard to feel sorry for Tinubu because the game that's going to be played on him at the primaries is the same game that he's played all across the Southwest for years, basically single-handedly deciding who, emerges with the party ticket. So for those who are interested, just take a clue, try and do a count of how many governors you think Tinubu has their support and how they're going to deliver the party delegates to him. And the other way to think about it too, another clue to his chances, is to see what happens on March 26th during the APC convention, which is 20 days away, whether the national chairman, is going to be a man of course, the national organizing secretary, and the secretary of the party, if they are people that he can work with, then his chances are look good. If they're not, then his chances are bad. And it's also the reason why many people, well, a few of the other candidates who are interested in running are sort of keeping their tinder dry, waiting to see what happens in convention before they declare their interest. Should be quite interesting. Just stay tuned. Let's keep watching. Join me again next week and have a great week ahead. Stay safe. Bye.